Now I'm going to show you how to adapt boleros, those cute jackets you can wear over a spaghetti stripe dress or blouse. Here are sketches of the boleros we are going to adapt. This one is double-breasted, while this one has cascade in front. So I'll start by showing you this one. To save time, I've already drawn it out by first of all tracing out the full front of the bodice. So this is the center front, and what you do is using the neckline here as your guide, you position your French curve and draw out to align with the dart tip. Then from there, recurve to meet the midpoint, reposition your French curve and connect from that point to the edge of the bolero, and that's it. So the shaded part, this shaded part you are going to cut off. So I'll cut that off now. So this is the final pattern. You cut two of these. After you've placed it on another pattern paper, add your seam allowance, all the pattern symbols, and it's a ready pattern to work on this. And the back of the bolero, I'm going to show you when I show you this one, because they are similar at the back. Now I want to show you how to adapt this other bolero. So here the adaptation is going to be for both the back of the bolero and the front. So I've already done it and pasted it here on my pattern paper. This is the CB. So what I did here was to extend the side, extend this button hem with 2 inches and take it down 3 inches. So this back is also going to be for this first one. You can see how it drops here. So do an extension and use your ruler to connect, and use your French curve to connect. And this is the back of the bolero. So for the front of the bolero that has cascade, that's this design. What you do, you extend the side by 3 inches and connect it with your ruler. And for the front, just draw out straight 7 inches. It could be lesser, it could be 7 inches, so it could be 5 inches. It depends on how full you want the cascade to drop. I know for this style, this particular design, it's advisable to use fabric like chiffon or jersey, fabric that will drape. So you take out 7 inches and connect with your French curve to meet this end, and that gives you this design. Now I'm going to show you how to adapt this jacket. It's collarless, but it's double-breasted and it has princess line. So to cut this, the first thing you should do, you know a jacket may be long, so this is the hip line. So you can trace out up to this hip line when you want to work on your jacket. So I've already done that here. I've traced it out. The full front of the blouse is like a blouse, the full front. And what I did next was to use the French curve. I measured out 3 inches from the center front to get this position, and took 1 inch down to come at this position, just to guide me when I'm using the French curve. Then now use the French curve to get to this point. And then from the bottom here, I took 3 inches upward to get this position and connected the 2 dots with broken lines, and square this using my dart as a guide. I square this to meet the point where the dart point came down to the hem. And because I need my princess line on this side, because you are going to cut 2 of this because it's double breasted for it to overlap. So cut that out. So I'm cutting it out now. You don't need the dart anymore, so that you have a fitted effect around the waistline. And if you notice, I've already closed the dart. That's why, because there was a bulge here, I had to snip here so that the dart will be relaxed. So I cannot cut this part because we don't need this part. So now I've finished cutting. So you are going to have, for this jacket, 2 pieces of it. Add your seam allowance, pattern symbols, and you are ready to place it on your fabric to cut and make that lovely jacket. Now I'm going to show you how to cut this jacket, the one in front of me here. It has a short collar, as you can see, and this pocket may be a welt pocket or false pocket, and it has princess line that comes from the armhole and long sleeve. So for this one, also like you did with the previous jacket I showed you, you cut it off, trace it out from the hip line to have the jacket length. So here I have it already done. Now we are just applying what we've learned before. I've already shown you a short how to go about making a short collar, so you can make reference to that, but I will describe what I have before me here. So I've already traced out the bodies for the jacket. So what you can see here, I cut out the dart and the princess line which runs from the armhole is already done. Then I extended for bottom panel, I extended it with 1 inch. I positioned the back bodies and then traced it out, brought out about 1 inch and connected this. The distance between here and here is like 2.5 inch for the collar to roll back, and created the desired design I wanted, which is, you can see this is the bust area. So the upper bust area is where I now enlarge the lapel. This is going to be the lapel of the jacket, and blended it to come back to the 1 inch allowance for button. So now I'm going to cut it out so that we'll see the final result. So this is the final jacket, and you would have already cut out the back. This is the back. So you see this will go at the back, and this part of this will now come to this neckline at the back and roll back to create the short collar. And if you notice, it does not cut through, because by the time you sew the dart together and position your welt pocket or false pocket, I folded back the lapel, you can see the effect, and this part will be for the buttons, and you made yourself a beautiful jacket.